So this morning, Carrie and I had a conversation about stories that we tell ourselves and put inside our heads that aren't necessarily true. And that has to do with, it can be with a job or a friend, family member, relationship, even a breakup with somebody. And yeah, I've been twisted up with some stuff lately, and Gary helped me work through it this morning, and it was a really good conversation.
So, the gist of what Jesse is sharing is that he had been experiencing some anxiety and just kind of some heaviness in his heart. And so I called him out and said, "What's going on?" And as it turns out, Jesse had a story in his head that he was creating and a relationship that ended based on, things that didn't work out, which we all have that in our story, right? But what we thought of as a bit of an aha moment to share is that when you tell yourself a story about the ending of a relationship and you really are set on the fact that they wronged you or you wronged them, and this is where you got out of it, and this is what you put into it, and this is what they put into it, vice versa, all these things, we create this story which really is an experience, which really essentially is baggage. Or as I shared with Jesse, there's this part of the story and there's this part of the story, and we create a foundation, right? And so then what happens is that story plays on in our head, and as long as you walk away from a relationship of any kind, it could be your work, it could be, you know, breaking up with your church, whatever it is, that story isn't positive and isn't healthy. And so to move on and truly move past something in a healthy space is to recreate that story, because I promise you 90% of the time the story that you're living with and the story that you have told yourself about that ending and that experience is probably not true. But your brain is the biggest liar you'll ever come across. You think the boy you were dating or the girl you were dating or whoever lied to you lied to you. Oh no, your brain lies to you the most. But your brain lies to you to protect you, to keep you from trying things that are scary. You feel fear from making that phone call and reaching out. You get fearful. So you don't, because your brain wants to protect you from all kinds of stress, all kinds of cortisols and things, right? So what Jesse and I talked about was, what's the reality of your story? What did you really, and now I'm taking this away from Jesse and let's make this about you and me. What is it that we tell ourselves about the story that quite possibly could be different? So did everything really play out the way that you think it did? Of course not, because the person on the other side of this story that also has a script is telling you, you did it, you did it, you did it, and it was this way, and you hurt me, and all those things. So if you even out the playing field and you realize what it really comes down to is everybody is sent in your life in a time and a space to teach you something. And I truly, truly believe that. And I can say from my own story, I was in an abusive relationship with a man once, and I learned a lot. That's the key. Once. It took me one bad relationship to realize there is a way that I will be treated. There is a way that I treat others. There is a respect that I must have in a relationship. And those things didn't align. So an example of the wrong story is, he was mean to me and he hurt me and I didn't deserve it and and I could walk away from that. And today the story is that I was in this relationship with a guy that was horrible and rotten and terrible and all these things. And gosh, by the time I hear the story back from friends, he beat me up and left me in an alley somewhere. And none of that even came close to happening. And the real story is, I met somebody at a time in my life where I was struggling to see my strength, to understand my wisdom, and also to have an opportunity to fight for myself and see self-worth. So I grew emphatically from that relationship. So a few months after that story, yeah, it was all this horrible stuff. But today I can tell you the story is that I learned a lot from that relationship. I learned a lot from that human. And we all have cracks. We all come in with our own baggages and our own cracks. We're just a bunch of gardens with cracked pots, and we need those pots so that we can grow. We need those cracks. So when we're watered, they bleed through sometimes and we can grow. And so what Jesse and I talked about today, and I think you had maybe a little bit of an aha moment, was that you have the control and you have the power and the opportunity when you talk to others and you share with others. You have an opportunity to retell that story and maybe be open, leave your ego and your hurt feelings back there, and just say, hey, Jesse, I want to share a story with you. This is an experience, and I think it's time for me to rechange the story. I think I want to start realizing that these things happen to me for a reason, and those hurts happen to me for a reason, so that I could grow, so that I could grow past the hurts. And the other big takeaway, you guys, so that you know how you felt through that breakup or that tumultuous situation, then you know not to do that to another person, to not leave such big crevices in somebody else's life journey. Little cracks we can heal from, but crevices are a lot harder. And those aren't stories, those are movies. That's a whole nother topic. But as far as when you leave a relationship, take the good stuff. Look for the opportunities where you can learn and grow and change the story in your head to what it really truly was, so you can get what you were supposed to get out of that chapter in your life. Because if you merely just walk away and you're pissed and he or she is pissed, they're pissed, the company hates you, whoever it is, that's going to create chapters and chapters and chapters, layers and layers and layers of what we call the movie, the ultimate bad experience, which plays out in your whole life. And that movie and that script becomes the narrative and the direction you're going to take the rest of your life. Because if Jesse left a relationship and it was horrible and rotten and terrible, he might be so burdened and so bruised and beaten up that he won't go forward with love and light into the next relationship. You're going to carry that stuff on your backpack. So I want to encourage you to start with this. I've been talking about this backpack, this virtual backpack we have. Jesse and I have talked about our backpacks quite a bit. I want you to take the bad stuff that you put into that relationship and that person gave to you in that relationship. And I want you to put those hurts and the you said, she said, he said, we should, and everybody else's opinions, by the way, put that in your backpack. And I want you to find a quiet place. I want you to lay down and I want you to take a walk to the nearest, biggest river. And I want you to visualize taking that backpack off. Don't unzip it and dump it out. Take the whole thing off and chuck that thing in the river. And I want you to feel it go from your headspace all the way through your body till it exits your toes. Let that garbage go. Throw the old film away. And then I want you to get up tomorrow morning and I want you to look in that mirror and I want you to start directing your life with a new narrative, with a new storyline. I want you to start saying, I'm sorry that this happened, but I'm so grateful that I'm better and stronger for it. And I really hope the person that feels all these awful, terrible things will someday get past it and that they too will heal and that you're always there in forgiveness. Because that's the best way to live your life. That's the best way to avoid getting cancers and sicknesses and diseases come from dis-ease in your life. So I want to invite you to seriously be contagious today and do the work, you guys. You're worth it. Your life is worth it. And your life movie should be something that's full of comedy, a little bit of drama, a whole lot of love and romance, and lots of contagious living. I was trying to not get doctoral.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to share our story in a relatable way so that people can really, really hear that you and I, when this thing's turned off, that we actually are real people and we sit and talk about and deal with these same things we're always sharing with everybody else on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, if we could somehow, Jesse, get them to understand that
that we have real problems too.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that we aren't just blurting stuff out to be contagious living, but we're actually really living through these things. And at 48, I've lived through a lot of them. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for those experiences and just being able to talk with you today and you to be grateful. I know that there's a little tiny little flicker for you where you were like, you know, this could be a better way to look at it. I try to add value
It was a
in your
way
life.
better way to look at it, and Carrie is teaching me how to communicate better too, because I have trouble with words sometimes and getting out how I or expressing how I truly feel about something. I hold back, and Carrie's
But all
doing
that counts is that we try, right?
yes,
That we try.
yeah.
So if you're with somebody who struggles with words, encourage them. Don't force them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't force word somebody.
No, but the camera is very much still on.
Yeah.
It's always on.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
I don't know. Is there anything else we want to say about that?
I think that's. I think you got two birds with one stone because we really want you guys to know that we're filming these, but these are real life we're experts of real life excerpts that are happening in our lives. And
Well, some of the things we share are in the heat of the moment, or we decide to record a video immediately after we've had one of these deep discussions.
100%. Can I say one funny thing so we can go?
Mm-hmm.
We just filmed a bucket list piece. So you guys will see that before or after near this. And this is how funny we are. We don't do pre-recorded take 12 things. And how I can prove that is I never wear red lipstick ever. I feel like it ages me. I feel like it's too dramatic. My lips are too skinny, whatever. I put red lipstick on so that we could probably preempt out the last one. It was the only pre-thought I had for bucket list was that I wanted to wear red lipstick on camera. So I was going to show up on the bucket list and say, look, this was on my bucket list. And I forgot that part because we're so about authentic and real and live. And I think it's true to say that Jesse could back me up in my life. The minute I've thought it, it's real and it's happened and it's present. So it's very hard for me to come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
So like instance, putting on the red lipstick for my bucket list, I'm feeling this. This is on my bucket list. We're doing this. I've experienced the experience. So I even forgot to even bring that out because it was so back in my head and done.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us just on everyday real life journeys. And Jesse, thank you for being totally vulnerable.
You're welcome. And I'm just going to keep going and add to this. There's more.
No.
No, and in a good way, there's been a handful of these videos where I've told you, hold that thought.
Yes.
Like just stop talking. I need to grab the camera.
Yes.
I will be right back. And I really need to have it ready all the time because these aha moments happen very quickly and out of the blue sometimes.
Especially when we get off the camera. We turn the camera off, or when I think the camera's off.
Yeah.
And we will go deeper and deeper. And I think it's just natural. Not that we don't want to give you that depth, but I think what happens is we relive the experience together and then we start sharing what that was that we were talking about and what it meant. And it just gets deeper. And yeah, I love what we do.
Yeah.
We have the best job in the world sharing with people. But we hope that you guys are doing some of this contagious living work in your lives and that you're implementing. These aren't just cute stories. We want you to be inspired and we want to hear how you're inspired. Please leave a comment below. I always forget to say that part.
And subscribe.
And subscribe. And have your friends and their friends and their friends subscribe.
Yeah.
We never know which one of these is going to be the one thing that just really connects with people and is a life changer for you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And here's something that Carrie's been wanting me to do for a while. She always tries to get me on her lives.
Oh my goodness.
Hopefully I get it in frame.
This this is Jesse
Hi, everybody.
introducing the man behind the lens.
I figured it's about time.
I'm so excited.
I figured Kari would appreciate this.
I appreciate
I'd
this.
be very excited and happy about it. So
this is a day we needed it, and the head is real.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know. He just shaved his head for you.
Yeah.
It's probably for you, but
Yeah.
yes, I want to say thank you for all the work that you do, so that you guys get to hear the stories and you guys get to see real reality life.
This is it.
This is it. Oh, now you guys are going to be able to share Jesse with the whole world. He's my best kept secret.
Yeah.
Shh. Okay, good job.
All right.
Welcome to the world.
Thanks.
Be contagious, you guys.
See ya.